So Albert Einstein once said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. And I've also heard that Mark Twain said that. And apparently neither can be substantiated. It doesn't really matter who said it. The fact is that compounding interest is probably one of the most important concepts in all of personal finance. You know, metaphorically, trying to be financially independent without understanding or using compounding interest would be kind of like trying to sail around the world without any wind.
Yeah, need a little wind here.
In this video, we're going to talk about compounding interest, why it's so important to you, and how you can harness its power to reach financial independence. Let's jump in. I want to start by talking about how compounding interest really hit me, when it really sort of settled in, because I went to college. I was a business major. I'd taken classes in accounting and finance. I'd done amortization and I'd done present value, future value, all those sorts of things. But for some reason, it never really hit home on how it could help me. I guess it was probably always in terms of debt. Well, after college, I'd read Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. There's actually a section in there about compounding interest, but it didn't really sink in until I went to one of his live events. I had a coworker who invited me. I enjoyed the book, so I thought, hey, I'll go check it out. I was getting married soon and thought I really needed to get my financial junk together, so I went. At that meeting, Dave gave this illustration, two guys named Arthur and Ben. And Ben basically invested $2,000 a year for 8 years, and then he quit saving. He didn't save any more for the next 39 years. It was a total of 47 years that each of them saved. And then Arthur, he waited 8 years to start saving, but then he started saving $2,000 a year also, only he did it for the next 39 years. So Ben has saved $16,000 over 8 years. I think Arthur saved $78,000 over the course of 39 years. And at the end of it, Ben actually saved more, had more than Arthur because of compounding interest. That basically, over time, because Ben was in the market longer, because his investments were around longer, they grew better. You can see at the end of the chart, Ben almost has $2.3 million, while Arthur has a little over $1.5 million. There's about a $750,000 difference, and Ben saved about $52,000 less. The rate of return on this example was 12%, which is exceptional. If you can get that, go for it all day. Dave Ramsey usually says that it's obtainable. I wish he would be more clear about where, because 12% would be an awesome rate of return for anybody. The S&P 500 has returned about 10.67% over its lifetime since the 1950s. So 12 is pretty aggressive. But that's not really what stood out to me. I kind of felt like Dave was baiting us anyway, because he was trying to make a point about time spent in the market and investing, which is great. It's important. But what really stuck with me was the fact that Ben was able to take a $16,000 investment over just a period of 8 years and turn it to over $2 million. So that means Ben saved like 0.7% of his total portfolio value. That was contributions he made. 99.3% of the portfolio's value was from earnings and growth from the investments. He didn't lift a finger for that. He just left the money in the market, left it alone, left it invested, and over that period of time, it made him a multimillionaire. And that's what really stuck with me that night. That's when I realized that compounding interest was so powerful. And not only that, it was something that was available to anybody. Now, I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and even then, $2,000 a year was pretty significant. It was probably, 5%, 4% of my income annually. So it wasn't a small amount to me, but it was still nice to know that, hey, if I save something and just leave it alone, invest it, take care of it, that it's probably going to turn into a pretty sizable sum one day. Now, you may look at that and go, okay, Kurt, you told me it was a 12% rate of return. That's not realistic. I have to confess, I agree with that. You may also say to yourself, well, what about an average guy like me? In the example, Ben starts saving when he's 19 years old. I didn't start saving until I was, 20s, 30s. Maybe you haven't even started yet. What does it look like for the average Joe? Well, we have a character we use regularly on the website. We call him Average J. On the videos, I'll just call him AJ for short. We're going to take every average component of American, when they start saving, how much they save, how long they save, or take median income. We don't use average income because very wealthy people like the Warren Buffetts of the world and Bill Gates, those folks, they skew that number higher. Median income is actually lower, and it's a better representation of what the average American is actually earning from year to year. So we're going to look at our friend AJ. AJ represents the average American, the average Joe, and the average American begins saving at 31 years old. The average American retires at age 61. The average American saves about 5% of their income each month. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as of June 2023, the median monthly income for an individual American was $4,767. So that's where we're gonna get our 5%. The average rate of return for the S&P 500, I've already said, was 10.67%. So that's the rate of return we're gonna use in our example from AJ. As you can see, AJ almost made it to $1 million. Not bad at all. Compounding interest turned $88,000 invested into over $657,000. That's a 7.5-fold increase. Now, if we use the 4% rule, AJ would be able to withdraw about $26,300 annually from that portfolio. That's not a bad retirement income. Certainly it's not what we consider rich. But I want you to look at the last few years of AJ's portfolio. He quit working. He stepped away from the workforce when his portfolio was earning the absolute most. He was earning over $60,000 in the year he turned 61. So this made me ask, what if AJ just worked a little longer? Or what if AJ earned a higher interest rate? Or what if AJ increased his savings rate? We're going to cover all three of these components and look at how they impact the outcome with compounding interest. This is going to help us understand how compounding interest is impacted by the decisions we make and how that impacts the outcome of our portfolio over time. All right, question one, what if AJ just works for a few more years? Now we can see if AJ works until he's 65, his portfolio actually clears $1 million. That's a 52% increase in overall portfolio value in just 13% more time. Now the lesson here is that compounding interest is a slow process, but if you're patient, it absolutely reaps dividends over time. It also shows how important it is to begin saving now. You cannot replace time. Start as soon as possible. There's a saying that the best day to start investing was yesterday, and the next best time is today. So if you're not saving and investing already, and financial independence is something you want, you need to get started. Hey, if you haven't already, please click the like and subscribe button below. That helps our channel to grow, helps us reach people who are searching for topics related to personal finance. All right, question number two, what if AJ was able to receive a higher interest rate? Now I want to kind of set the table here before I dive into this example. 10.67% is the number we used in AJ's scenario. Like we said, that is the basic rate of return for the S&P 500 for the last, 70-something years. And that's achievable. The thing is, it's not exactly realistic. Odds are you're not going to leave your entire portfolio in an index fund that's based in the S&P 500 for your entire life. And the reason is the older you get, the less risk you're going to take. You're going to want to pull more and more, and this is a good strategy, by the way, pull more and more of that money out of the market and put in something more stable, some cash equivalents or bonds or something that's a little more steady as you age, because you don't want to take a big hit right as you leave the workforce and start drawing down that retirement money. But we do want to illustrate how important just the smallest little change in interest rate could be to your portfolio over time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Dave. We're going to use this 12% in the example for AJ. All right, you can see in the year that AJ turned 61, he earns $869,000. Portfolio reaches $869,000 in value. That's $211,000 more than he would have had at the 10.67% return in the S&P 500. That means for only a 1.33% increase in interest rate every year, he got $211,000 more dollars in the end. And if AJ waits until he's 65, his portfolio reaches $1.4 million and is almost $380,000 more valuable. That's a really significant difference for only a 1.33% increase in returns. Now, you shouldn't take this as a suggestion to go chase market returns. Markets are exceptionally efficient. There are thousands of people sitting at very fast computers who watch the news all day, and they're trading stocks constantly. And they're very experienced, they're very knowledgeable, they're very good. The average Joe, you and me, is not going to be faster than them. We don't know the tea leaves. We don't have inside information. They don't. It's a loser's game to try to outwit the market. So don't take this as as my license to you to go out and try to chase gains, because that's a fool's errand. What I do hope you will do is think about pieces of your investment portfolio that you can control. What you're looking for isn't gains that you can get out of uncertainty in the market. What you're looking for is gains that you can get over things you can control. Expenses, how much it costs to actually operate or make trades, to run your account, whatever. You want to do that as efficiently as possible. All right, question 3. What if AJ increased his savings rate? Now, in this last example, we're going to go back to 10.67% the S&P 500 return. Instead of investing 5% of AJ's income, we're going to invest 15%. So in this scenario, AJ's saving goes from $28.60 each year to about $85.81. And the results aren't bad. AJ's portfolio reaches $2 million in the year he turns 61. That's $1.3 million more than he had by saving 5% of his income. If he keeps going until he turns 65, he'll have over $3 million. And unlike savings rate or the returns of the stock market, how much we save is something we can actually control. It's also clear from this example that it's abundantly important. I'd encourage you to run your own scenarios and see how well your savings rate is aligning with your ultimate goals. Furthermore, there's no better time to increase your savings rate than right now. If you think about it, down the road, if you want a certain chunk of money when you retire or whenever you want to leave work or whatever, you'll have an easier time reaching that sum amount the earlier you start. So get going now. If you have an employer-sponsored retirement plan, be sure you're taking advantage of any contributions they make. That's like a tailwind. They're just helping you. They're giving you free money. They're making it a lot easier to reach that goal. So be sure you're taking advantage of that in your 401ks or your 457s, 403s, things like that, TSAs if you work for the government. Be sure to look for ways to get that free money. So there you have it, compounding interest. Like I said from the outset, I don't think there's a more important force in all of personal finance. It's true that he who understands it earns it, he who doesn't pays it. Compounding interest is the only path to financial independence that's really available to virtually anyone. But it won't work unless you make saving and investing a priority. Now, we have lots more information about compounding interest on our website at martinmoney.com. We'll provide a link to the written version of this video down in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, please click like and subscribe. Share our content with others. It helps get the word out, helps us teach other people about finance. As always, we're so grateful for your interest in what we're doing. God bless and take care.